if I had to name one factor that dominates human bad decisions, it would be what I call denial. If the truth is unpleasant enough, people kind of, their mind plays tricks on them and they think it isn't really happening. And of course that causes enormous destruction of business, where people go on throwing money into the way they used to do things, even though it isn't going to work at all well in the way the world is now, having changed. And if you want an example of how denial is affecting things, take the world of investment management. How many managers are going to beat the indexes, all costs considered? I would say maybe 5% can consistently beat the averages. Everybody else is living in a state of extreme denial. They're used to charging big fees and so forth for stuff that isn't doing their clients any good. It's a deep moral depravity. If some widow comes to you with $500,000 and you charge her 1 point a year and you could put her in the indexes, but you need the 1 point. And so people just charge some widow, a considerable fee for worthless advice. And the whole profession is full of that kind of denial. It's everywhere. So if I had to say, and I always quote Demosthenes. It's a long time ago, Demosthenes. That's more than 2,000 years ago. And he said, what people wish is what they believe. Think of how much of that goes on. And so of course it's hugely important. And you can just see it. I would say the agency costs in money management, there are just so many billions, it's uncountable. And nobody can face it. Who wants to keep your kids in school? You need the fees, you need the brokerage commissions, you need this or that. So you do what's good for you and bad for them. Now, I don't think Berkshire does that. And I don't think Garen and I did it at the Daily Journal. Garen and I never took a dime in salary or director's fees or anything. And if I have business I talk on my phone or use my car, I don't charge it to the Daily Journal. That's unheard of. It shouldn't be unheard of. And it goes on in Berkshire, and it goes on in the Daily Journal. But we have an incentive plan now in this Journal Technologies. And it has $1 million worth of Daily Journal stock. That did not come from the company issuing those shares. I gave those shares to the company to use in compensating the employees. And I learned that trick, so to speak, from the guy at BYD, which is one of the securities we hold in our securities portfolio. And BYD at one time in its history, the founder chairman, he didn't use the company's stock to reward the executives. He used his own stock. And it was a big reward, too. Well, last year, what happened? BYD last year made more than $2 billion after taxes in the auto business in China. Who in the hell makes $2 billion who's a brand new entrant really in the auto business for all practical purposes? It's incredible what's happened. And so there is some of this old-fashioned capitalist virtue left in the Daily Journal, and there's some left in Berkshire Hathaway, and there's some left in BYD. But most places, everybody's trying to take what they need and just rationalizing whether it's deserved or not.
Warren Buffett says practically the same thing, questioning whether endowment funds, from General Motors and Harvard, might as well employ monkeys throwing darts. Are they right, and do the facts speak for themselves? Please listen to what Warren Buffett has to say before deciding. Also, please share and subscribe if you like this video.
And if the Harvard endowment had come to see me, and it's 11-year-old, or General Motors pension fund or something, and they say, well, no, but we have to have a balance, and we have to maybe have 60%, and then we have to sit around every 3 months and listen to a bunch of managers. They'd have just done better if they'd just taken some darts and thrown them and just said, we're going to be in America 50 years from now and 100 years from now, and we'll do better in stocks than we will in bonds. It's amazing how hard people make what a simple game it is. But of course, if they told everybody what a simple game it was, 90% of the income or more of the people that were speaking would disappear. So there's really a little too much of us to expect of human nature that people will explain why they really aren't adding any value to what you can do by yourself, or actually I hate to use the example, but you can't have monkeys throwing darts at the page and take away the management fees and everything. I'll bet on the monkeys, but I don't consider them a superior species, and I don't want them to move next door instead of my next door neighbor or anything. But that is the way it's just the way it has to be. Charlie, do you have anything cheerful to say?
Well, frequently in the wealth advisory business, the way it used to be, you go to your investment advisor and you say, what should I do to protect myself for the future? And he says, why don't you give me $50,000 of your net worth now? That's my contribution to your future. It's a peculiar business.
Yeah, it's a great place to go rich. It's still, if you have a son or daughter that really wants to make money per point of IQ and per erg of energy and all of that, well, tell them to go to Wall Street. I mean, don't have them enter the priesthood or anything. I mean, if that's what it self-selects, and it always will be the case. I mean, there's no reason to despair about humanity because they behave in their self-interest. They may not actually be behaving in their self-interest over time, but they, are they happy or who the hell knows? But